welcome y'all to Backwoods Obscura, a podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. So today I was hoping... Okay, so I told you that I was playing in Pathfinder Society, right?
Yep.
I decided to go ahead, take the plunge. I got on Warhorn and signed up for a game. I managed to find a game on Saturday at 10 o'clock. Saturday being today. And I got my character ready. I got it set up, put in my character ID, talked with the DM. Everything was going smoothly. The day of, the DM is like, childcare fell through. Got to cancel. And we were just sitting there like, darn.
The true BBEG right there,
Yeah.
scheduling.
Yeah. I'm not too beat up about it because, it happens. But I was really looking forward to learning more about Pathfinder 2nd Edition outside of what we do, because I feel like I default into 5e a lot.
Well, we've played 5e for since 15 or 16.
Yeah. We played it so long I've forgotten basically everything about Pathfinder 1st Edition and 3.5.
That's drilled in my head on 3.5, man.
I remember some things. I remember some things with Belshavan. That's the things I remember. I remember how many things I can summon at once because it's annoying, and I love being annoying in D&D games.
You want to know a fun fact from when we were running 3.5 games years ago? The only 3.5 book I've owned in the last 15 years has been the Player's Guide.
Really?
Yep. Everything else I double checked online, or it's pretty straightforward on how to make a roll and a set of DC. And then you can find monsters pretty easy.
Well, back in the day, they had the SRD. And with 5th edition, you don't see as much as the SRD anymore because they reduced it down to the basic rules as opposed to all the rules.
Yeah.
Like it used to be. But yeah, you can find 3.5, I think even 1st and 2nd edition.
You can still find 1st and 2nd edition stuff. That's some of the games I've been converting that over for things to be entertaining, bringing back the weird, super weird nonsense. But
also the weirdly balanced nonsense.
Yeah, in some cases. But I mean, other than that, how you doing?
Well, I wanted to talk about something. Okay, so we talked...
I see how it is.
How am I doing?
No, I see how it is. You're not even going to ask it back. You don't care about my... I get it.
How are you doing, Hewitt?
Well, honestly, my feeling's a little hurt right now.
Is your butt a little bit hurt?
Yeah, I've had some gastric distress today. Thanks for putting that out on the internet. I'm not ashamed of it. It's one of the things that used to play on the live cast is Miro is secretly farting right now, and it was always true. So, yeah.
I just thought it was funny. The other day we were playing Pathfinder, and everyone heard it too, and they're like, "Damn, Hewitt!" It sounded like it was right at the mic.
It wasn't though. Anyway, other than that, I've been fine. I've been hanging out with the kids.
That's good.
Whenever we are done recording, I'll show you what I got to work on the shed just a little bit.
Oh, I got to talk to you because me and Ruby had an idea for... She wants to do this whole goblin core thing for our room. Where, she's wanting to put moss and mushroom lights everywhere. And I'm like, why don't we get some bark or some woodcraft stuff in the room as well? So I'm going to be buying some stuff and probably commissioning you.
Okay.
Yeah. But we could talk about that after the pod.
I dig your monster house or extreme home makeover concept that's happening here.
Yeah, she was just out of nowhere, I want to do goblin core.
You know, that tracks. That tracks just
fine.
A little bit.
That's fine. I'm cool with it. I'm a D&D nerd, so... Or TTRPG nerd, just in general. But today...
You said TT.
TT. Today, we are talking about something from Pennsylvania.
Okay, so here's the deal. For the longest time, I thought we were actually limited to just in Louisiana, so all the crap I've been researching is just down here.
To
but
be fair, I decided to go outside of that wheelhouse.
Immediately with the Fouke monster, we went up to Arkansas.
Yeah, well,
I'm just teasing you. This is all technically backwoods that we're talking about.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like when it comes to the Fouke monster, it never really registered to me because Fouke monster is also, I mean, we're close enough to Arkansas. It almost feels like a story around here.
It does, and I'm just teasing you mostly because I believe.
You gotta tease me.
Because I think it's because I set my own arbitrary rules for what I'm looking into.
We set the arbitrary rules of we're going to talk about things in Louisiana and also things no one talks about. And the first episode we did was fucking zombies. So,
well, that deals with Louisiana.
It does deal with Louisiana. We did okay for our first time.
Anyway, you're telling me about something from the great Quaker state.
Yes. So picture you're a teenager in the 1970s in Pennsylvania.
Man, there's so much underage drinking and weed.
Yeah. And bell bottoms.
And bell bottom jeans.
You're probably driving like
a Chevy Nova.
And it's fucking hard to drive because they didn't have power steering back in those days. Did they?
No, well, some vehicles did.
I think it was coming around.
And then, also the gas crunch was on.
Oh, yeah.
Nixon resigning.
Yeah. Well, you and your friends decide to hop in the car and drive down the back roads in search of what the townsfolk call the Green Man. Your parents told you not to go out looking for it, but hey, you hear about it, you're not really too worried about it. Plus, it gives you a reason for you and your friends to go out and have some fun. At past midnight, after riding around the roads, you decide to head back. Seems like all the talk you heard was just that. It was just talk, it was just rumors, it was just an urban legend. But suddenly, as you're driving back, you see it. A green glow, a haze, and a figure coming towards you as you're driving towards it. The face is disturbingly vacant of any features, but the head follows your car nonetheless. You drive past, and you just realize you encountered the Green Man. Now, what is the Green Man?
Is this like a 1970s creepypasta?
We're going to Scooby-Doo era shit right here.
Oh man, think about Scooby-Doo dealing with Slender Man. Like this is a Slender Man before Slender Man.
Or the Rake.
I'm pretty sure they dealt with the Rake. Fred hit that bitch with a baseball bat.
So the Green Man is an entity in western Pennsylvania, sometimes in Ohio and West Virginia, and he's often associated with what's called the Green Man's Tunnel in South Park Township, Pennsylvania. You've probably heard of it before.
I've heard of the tunnel.
Yeah. Well, it's a big ghost, spooky ghost place. The story of the Green Man in the Green Man tunnels is actually a ghost of a man who is said to have been electrocuted.
Ooh.
So
bad way to go.
Yeah. And apparently he has the visage of just right before he died. If ever seen any, don't look up people that have been electrocuted. It's actually
electrical burns are absolutely terrible to see. I used to have one across my back.
Ooh.
Because I fell on one of the places I used to work was grandfathered in on everything, and it was one of the first built. It was built before electricity, so there was tube and knob wiring through all the building. They thought they had cut the electricity to all the tube and knob, and I fell back off of a ladder into the wall and pressed into one of these wires.
Ooh, yeah.
It burned through my jacket, through my shirt, and left about a 1/4 inch line from one shoulder to the other. That scar took about 10, 12 years to finally fade to where now it's just kind of a line on my back.
Yeah. The only time I've ever, the most serious form of shock I've ever had from electrical shock was when I was a supervisor at a restaurant. And they had just cleaned the entire floor. The floor was still wet. My dumbass was like, I'm going to plug in this giant mixer because for some reason I was like, yeah, I need to get to work. So I'm going to plug in this giant mixer without realizing there's so much moisture on the floor. So when as soon as I start plugging it in, I feel...
Did you catch 110?
I felt it go up and hit my chest and was able to let go. I had to sit down.
Yeah, it's okay. anyone that is listening to this later, you can enjoy me being a dumbass in my 20s, but also do not do any of this. Like, do not.
Yeah. Avoid electricity.
Avoid electricity. But I mean, here's the thing: is working for the poolside shop, running wiring for ponds, or electricity for pond pumps, double checking wiring in the old building. Also, you remember my old house?
Oh yeah.
My grandfather was an electrician, and he did everything up to code at work, and he did good enough at home. So there was multiple times I'm going through the attic when we were trying to like double check outlets and double check wiring. But no, anyway, it's I've caught 110 more than once because of faulty wiring.
Ooh.
It is not fun, especially when your body decides you can't let go of it.
Yeah, I've never had that. I don't want it. But yeah, so his visage is of someone who is described of having a, quote, melted face.
Oh, wait, yeah. So does he look like, does he look like Meltman from all that?
I'm not sure. I think it's just like he's supposed to have like a horrifying visage.
I think I just dated myself by referencing.
You probably did. You did. I mean, we both date ourselves, but he's also known to have a green glow, which is kind of funny to me. It sounds like a Ghostbusters ghost.
It sounds a little bit like the irradiated astronaut from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that too. Like,
or the red ghost. Remember the red ghost that was walking around like just had a red glow and electricity all the time?
Yeah, it's so weird. Like ghosts in the 70s and 80s all had weird glows that were either green or blue.
Well, think about it also with like the atomic energy. Like
true, yeah.
Like the 60s. Okay, 70s really isn't atomic punk. That's still mostly 50s. But you still have space race, Cold War vibes. So if
kids from that era growing up and making stuff in the 70s and 80s.
Right, I mean, like, okay, why did all the zombies in Romero films have to be multicolored?
Well, that was just makeup and
censorship and stuff like that. But at the same time, that like a bright green zombie would immediately make you think radiation. So like, here's a radioactive ghost. Also, green's always like the creepy color if you ever find it like glowing in the dark. You know what I mean? Like red's people are like, oh, red, that's evil. Green, creepy or poisonous. Blue, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a stoplight. Like red's bad, yellow is green is, it might be okay.
It might be okay, but still, green's also like this. Green's a spooky color.
Yeah, green is kind of a
red is danger.
Color.
Red is always danger color. Like,
yeah, it's weird how our brains process colors in that way.
Well, it's not just that. It's that we've been taught that, like, look at stop signs, look at caution signs. Like, all the dangerous signs are like red.
There's actually
now I'll say this: if you ever see a container truck ahead of you and they have a green triangle, get away from that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, there's actually studies on like different colors, and we're getting off topic here, but there's studies on different colors and how we perceive them, which is why yellow, I believe it's yellow that's used for caution signs, and why people like Elon Musk get in trouble because he doesn't like yellow or something in his factory, so they use gray instead, but that doesn't work the same way.
No, because our brain is hardwired to push gray.
Yeah, to the
side. It's like, well, think about Disney. They have go away green. Go away green is a gray green. Like, they paint something in the park that you're not supposed to notice, you're not supposed to see. Like, if you ever end up in an area that is all go away green in Disney, you are in the wrong area and you need to get out quick. But the thing is that your eye's not drawn to that color. Your brain just kind of immediately scans over this very desaturated green color. So I get what you're saying with like where our brains go with coloring, but like bright neon green.
I mean, I would be freaking out if I saw like some green lights in the woods, even if it was just something explainable.
True.
But here's the thing that was talked about. I found an article from 21 WFMJ. It seems like a local news thing from a author of Haunted Roads of Pennsylvania, or Western Pennsylvania. I'm sorry.
I love that book title. Lets me know exactly what you're about.
Hey, you got to get straight to the point. Author Thomas White is quoted saying that this is kind of like the Western Pennsylvania version of the Hook Man. If you know about the Hook Man,
the hook on the door handle.
Yeah, he's the guy that scares couples or kills couples that go out in the secluded areas at night. And
he is the angriest anti-premarital sex advocate out there.
And in his recounting of it, in the way that Thomas White talks about it, he says that he was disfigured by acid, which is equally disturbing, but also you don't hear a lot about like acid burns here. Like that's not like at least in this part of the world, I haven't heard a lot about it. Maybe I'm just showing my whole ass.
Well, I mean, okay, let's be honest. Down here, there's not a whole like. I'm kind of with you. Down here in this where we are in Louisiana, there's not a lot of stories about an acid burn victim, because let's be fair, a lot of our area is not industrialized. It's mostly agricultural.
That's
so
true.
The reason like the Hook Man would still make sense down here is somebody loses a hand to a thresher.
Up there where there's probably more industrial,
So like a chemical burn up there might make more. Like if you told me like there was an acid burn man from Gary, Indiana, I would 100%.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
But that's also because I believe anything comes out of Gary, Indiana, because I think the veil is thin there, and that's where the back rooms are.
But like the Hook Man, White speaks about him as a stalker of couples, someone that if you go out there with your sweetheart and you're trying to have a little bit of panky-panky, as they say, he might show up and disrupt it, or try to kill you or whatever.
I'm sorry, the way you just described that is now, boo, I am a cock block.
He's like, this isn't very Christian of you.
Yeah. God's watching. Put your dick up, son.
Put your dick up, son. People aren't going to know.
Seriously, put your dick up, son is still a great joke no matter where people hear it from you, because it's
just...
Start the old-timey radio.
But... like the Hook Man, he harasses couples. He's said to supernaturally turn off cars, show up in secluded areas.
Right, so he's kind of like the Ghost Light that can the one down at.
I was actually going to say he's kind of like the Ghost Light
down at the Green Bridge that can shut off an engine, like has some like weird electronic effect.
Also, he's like Bloody Mary and some of the other ones. If you see him and your dumbass is like, I'm going to say your name 3 times, he's going to attack you, which is so funny. It's like, why would you... Okay, you already have like a faceless man in front of you who is glowing. You're going to be like, hey, green man, green man, green man. And then you're just going to let him do that. Oh, why are you going to piss off the bear?
Well, here's the thing is also this is one of the things I love about urban legends like this, is that the saying the name 3 times is actually an old pagan tradition. Well, I mean, it's like even books like the Dresden Files. If you wish to summon an entity, you have to say its name 3 times. It's the reason why in games I've run from that, if in a very brief period of time they've said something's name a couple times, they show up. It took them a couple sessions to realize that, because they summoned Mab, the Queen of Winter, and all the unseelie fae, while she was getting dressed for the ball.
Whoops.
In front of St. Louis Cathedral.
As you do. Yeah.
It resulted in one of them getting banished and locked in her own deep freeze.
Okay. So
well, I did that because the player had been making jokes about fridging, the trope fridging. Yeah. So she got locked in her industrial deep freeze until someone went and got her out. Okay,
so getting back on track, I wanted to go over that because I thought it was an interesting sidetrack.
Yeah.
Showing that the story of the Green Man reaches into other depths, where we're talking about the Hook Man, and we're talking about ghosts under a bridge and all that. But the most popular one is actually just you see him at night on the roads. At the beginning, we talked about the story, or I gave you the story, where you see the ghost of the Green Man on the road, and that is by far everything I've read. Everyone talks about that. Everyone talks about the potential when you're in Western Pennsylvania, sometimes in Ohio, West Virginia, in that area.
I'm going to call a little bit of bull on West Virginia because that's Mothman territory, and I don't think there's many cryptids that will go after the glorious ass that is Mothman.
The Green Man wants to stay away from the glorious moth ass.
Mothman can clap without using their moth hands.
Just to go before we continue, so we can get off the topic of the moth ass. Other reasons why he doesn't have a face is he ripped off his face, which yeah, I mean that's one of those ones.
That's new 22 Joker kind of vibes.
It's like, I ripped off my face.
Or is it new 52?
Scary.
Whenever they tried the relaunch,
52.
When they tried to relaunch DC,
and it failed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love this one because it also it explains why he's faceless and why he glows. He got struck by lightning.
Okay, that one's believable. Do you know? Fun fact: do you know what a lightning strike can do to your fingertips?
Can't it like?
It'll make them look like cauliflower.
Yeah, like it just.
But no, it's
I'm doing all these effects.
Well, not just like what you're doing like this and lightning come out your fingertips. I mean, like literally, your fingertips will look like heads of.
So you get cauliflower ear, but on your fingers.
I mean, like you know how there's all the little nodules and pustules and like it will literally split the major cell groups in your finger and leave you with these spongy masses.
Now I'm tempted to Google cauliflower fingers.
The other thing is it can do that to more than just your fingers if you are a male.
Oh, let's move on.
No, the only reason I say that is there's a really bad story that turned out to be true about a couple that was enjoying themselves.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's.
And they got struck by lightning.
Yeah, I think we can all get a picture here. So, what if I told you there's truth in this story?
I think I would highly believe you because I think I know a smidgen of this story.
Raymond Theodore Robinson was born in 1910 in Beaver County, Pennsylvania.
Beaver County.
As a child, he suffered an electrical accident which he lost both of his eyes, his nose, and right arm. He was said to have miraculously survive the incident.
Dude, if your whole face is melted off and you lose an arm...
Well, the thing is, it's like they actually lost a kid the same way because what had happened is he was climbing a bridge to get a bird's nest, but there were some exposed wires there. And there was actually an incident a year before, which annoys the shit out of me because it's like a kid already died this way and this could have been... Anyway, that's...
hold on. What country are we talking about?
Oh, we're talking about America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and let me put this out there. There are multiple toys you and I grew up with as being kids born in the 80s, growing up in the 90s, that literally killed children that were still on the shelves and we owned.
I mean, there are so many
I
mean, there's actual stuff. There's so many, like, great-grandparents and grandparents that had china that had fucking uranium in it.
Oh, you're talking about, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, the radioactive plates.
Yeah.
But no, dude, I'm talking about, you've seen the movie Fight Club.
Yeah.
If the payout is less than what it would cost to go into court and the payout is less than what it would cost for a recall, America will still keep producing the product and pay people off until it gets more expensive than taking it off the shelves. Hasbro, yes, I'm calling you out, has done it multiple...
Who gives a shit about Hasbro?
They've done it multiple times over the last 60 years.
We can only hope Hasbro falls like the buildings and fight. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Where is my mind?
I love me some Pixies.
Oh, that song is so... Hey, anyone that's listening to this later, go watch Fight Club. It's an old movie.
But don't take the wrong message out of it. It is actually about toxic masculinity.
100%. But also his name is Robert Paulson.
But from what I've found about Raymond's childhood, he had a fairly decent childhood even after the incident, although apparently his parents kind of secluded him. They were kind of old world in that way.
Oh, did they our child has some defects, so we got to hide him? kind of thing.
Yeah.
Was this like we're going to put you in the attic type?
No, nothing like that. It was just like he was that kid with that thing.
He's the kid that has no face.
Well,
okay,
I don't know if they use that terminology. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, and I definitely don't want to disparage his parents.
I'm just saying everybody else around. I'll disparage some people that were in the neighborhood because I know humans. They probably talked about that's the kid that has no face. Because I mean, when did he get zapped? Like when he was like.
Well, he was born in 1910, and he was so it'd be 1918 to 1922. I would like just
okay.
Off the top
So
of my
we're talking about like this by this time for this to be told in the 60s and 70s. He's a 60-year-old man. Yeah. If we're talking like I'm a history teacher. The bullshit that people say and did back in the day that like they just wrote off as okay and cool. There are 100% people that would talk about this family like, oh, these poor people, or
definitely.
But they would say it. It's like the "oh bless your heart" double talk of the South. Like you think they're trying to be like, oh, you know about their kid, and the whole time it's like there's no pity in what they're actually saying. What they're saying is like, you know, their kid's jacked up. Like they're sitting there like but inside like the whole group is with their highballs or
it's people that are speaking through both of their. Yeah,
it's out the mouth and out the ass at the same time.
It's unfortunate because everything I've read about Raymond,
just a kid.
Well, no, not just him as a kid. Him as an adult seems like he was a cool person, and which is why I'm going to get into more in his adult life. He spent most of his childhood after this point a recluse. He has said not to really speak on the incident because he kind of had it can't be helped mentality about it. It's like, well, it happened, so I can't do anything about it. Why would I?
That's actually, you know what? I mean, this is going to sound kind of, that's actually kind of cool of him. Like he wasn't like okay, he probably was a little bit, but it's like he didn't want to be like a victim about it. He's like, this shit just happened to me and this is life now. Like there's almost a little zen to that. Like it is what it is.
Well, people deal with trauma like this in different ways, and honestly I don't know how I would have handled something like this, especially at the age that it happened to him. It does show some strength there, where it's you're just able to be like, okay, so this happened, what can I do to move on? And what he did to move on, I mean, he mostly lived at home, but he did make some extra money making belts and wallets, doing some like basic leather working.
Oh, so like he was a leather worker?
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
He was a one-handed leather worker.
He's a one-handed non-vision. That is impressive because I can't. You've seen me cut a belt.
It's fucking hard. It's like, okay, so we used to do a lot more leather working back in the day because we're nerdy as fuck and we did steampunk. Leather is an unforgiving medium.
Oh, so much.
You just have just a little bit of dullness in your knife. If you just hit it the wrong way, you're fucked.
You can ruin a piece, but like no, like that's actually impressive. I mean, he's got, because I'll be honest, it is hard for me to leather work with two hands.
And he did this for some extra money, and he did enjoy himself. I mean, he used to listen to the radio, listening to ball games, listening to music, all that. But he mostly avoided people because when I'm assuming when you have his condition, you're acutely aware of how people might react to you.
I bet he could feel people. I mean, everybody can feel people staring at them.
Yeah. Well, there was actually an account I saw where someone talked about being a kid and seeing him and having like a kid reaction. Like, you see someone like that, unfortunately, and if you go look up the pictures of Raymond, you would understand what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying
my child's already done this. Like, there was a gentleman that was missing his left arm from down below the elbow when we went through Sam's the other day, and my child, where's his arm? Not mean,
just
not vindictive, just inquisitive, but loud AF. To where I'm like,
Yeah.
put you in the buggy, and now we're going to move further away because you don't ask those kind of questions.
Yeah,
so
but,
when I asked him on the next aisle, or I told him on the next aisle, don't ask these types of questions, just as loud, why?
like, kids, like, especially young kids, don't understand. But, like, he was acutely aware of this. It seems like everything I've read that he didn't want to ruffle feathers. He knew his neighbors. He talked to his neighbors. I saw some accounts of him going out with, like, a fake nose and
having, like, prosthetics and stuff.
Like, every now and then. But he mostly stuck when he wanted to go out. He wanted to go out at night when he didn't have to worry about putting on all the fake shit. He wanted to just stroll down. Honestly, I can relate. The man just wanted to go out, smoke some cigarettes. I used to smoke, I can get it, and drink some beer. So he's going down. He lives in Coppell, Pennsylvania, and still in Beaver County, which is, funnily enough, 50 miles away from Green Man Tunnel.
How stories move.
Yeah. I just wanted to get to that because it's like this story started 50 miles away.
Well, to be fair, like the pictures of Green Man Tunnel, it's a creepy tunnel.
Yeah, it's a weird looking tunnel, and I can see it. It's like here in the maze. Like if you go to the maze at night, especially back in the day when we were kids, it was all just overgrown and everything, and then you go out there probably smoking weed. Maybe. Well, it is what it is.
Statute of limitations is so expired on that.
Yeah, and you hear some ruffling or you hear something, it can get scary.
For anybody that is wondering what the maze is a series of concrete barricades and structures that are meant to break up off-flow from storm drain runoff for the city into the river, which we as kids would go to because we were told not to go there, and also spray paint it.
Oh yeah, it was like kind of a rite of passage for us to...
Yeah.
But in his travel through the backroads of Pennsylvania, people would interact with him. And sometimes they were cruel. Like, I just want to get that out of the way, and it's an unfortunate part.
It's an unfortunate truth that people can be
nasty.
People can be nasty, people can be jerks, because like I was trying to say, like, why did his parents keep him secluded? Kids can be jerks. I grew up as the short kid until like high school. One of my best friends was the fat kid until high school. And so kids just being kids.
I was always the weird kid. So
you're still the weird kid.
I am still the weird kid.
But now you own it and it's not like an insult.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. But the big thing is a lot of people would do pranks on him.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Also, to be fair, these are boomers.
Yeah.
These are boomers doing
Some of these are like pre-boomers too. The
silent generation.
What they would do is, some people would drive him to random places and drop him off.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like that's not a prank. That's
just being fucked up.
No, that's like that could be argued to be attempted fucking murder. What the?
Yeah. There are accounts of him getting hit by a car.
Intentionally?
I don't know if it's intentionally. Every time I read about this, it's like he's been hit by cars multiple times. I'm like, this motherfucker is resilient.
This is the guy God's like, I will get this one.
I mean, God didn't get him until 74 too, so he lived a pretty good life. I mean, there were like people like I said, he liked to drink beer, but he would never take a beer from someone that already popped the top because he'd think they would tamper with it.
Yeah, that is a fair...
Yeah.
Why would
people are just fucked up.
People are
fucked up to disabled people.
People are shitty about something. Like, this actually is making me slightly angry, and this is like...
Let's just say this.
This dude died 10 years before I was born.
Yeah, well, actually, he died in 1985.
Oh, you said 80... You said 70... I thought you said 74 a second ago.
He died at 74.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought you meant
not in 74.
Okay,
bad. Let's just get this off the top. Fuck ableism. Like, fuck it. If you're shitty to people that are disabled in any way, go fuck yourself. But
hashtag not sorry at all.
Hashtag not sorry. Fortunately, there were some nice people that interacted with them. Actually, you see a lot of pictures of him with people that were just going about their way and just or they were curious about the Green Man, and then they found him and then they decided to interact.
And they're like, oh shit, shit, we need to help him.
Well, not even help. They would just talk with them. Like, a lot of the interactions were just them trading cigarettes and beer just for his time. And they would just talk with him and just hang out.
That means he was at least okay. People were being shitty to him on the side, but like at least he was like partially living the dream of like, hey, old man, here's a pack of cigarettes and here's a 6-pack of beer. Tell me about your life.
Well, here's the thing that's really interesting, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up. It's not something that can really happen in the digital age where we all have like a camera ready to go.
Oh, we would this urban legend would have been kibosh so fast.
Simultaneously being a man and a myth and a legend all in one at the same time in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I believe sometime into the 80s. Like, he was able to have like an audience with people in his area, and people would seek him out, have conversations with him. Apparently he was always really nice. He was always really courteous. He always was interesting to talk to. At the same time, he was like this weird ghost, this specter that would haunt roads in the backwoods of Pennsylvania and Ohio. It's just really interesting to me that he's like split right in the middle of myth and legend. At the same, like, at the point he's alive, because every time we talk about someone that turns into an urban legend, it's long after they're dead.
It's way after they're gone.
It's just so cool to me, and which is, I could actually talk about him a lot more than I did now, but yeah.
I mean, it seems like if you did, it'd be getting like way more into personal stuff with them. But I mean, dude, this is actually kind of awesome. I knew a little bit because, not gonna lie, last week, there's a YouTube channel, like 50 interesting facts in like 10 minutes or something like that. And it's a bald dude that just like starts riddling off facts. And he mentioned this story and I went, oh, okay. And then like the next day you're like, I got one for you, the Green Man of Pennsylvania. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah. There's another name he went by, which is Charlie No Face.
Oh.
Yeah. I went with the Green Man because I thought that was a little bit more interesting, a little bit more sensitive. Not really sensitive, more...
I do got a bit of a headcanon here. Since people were assholes to him and just dropped him off randomly, maybe they dropped him 50 miles off, but he had like one of those old military flashlights that had a green lens in it, and some kids being kids in the 70s.
They're like, oh, geez, oh, no. Hi, this dude's nice. What you need, mister?
And then the story just goes from there. Like, why are y'all so late getting in? Oh, man, Dad, like, we saw a ghost out by the bridge. He was a green man. Like, we were so scared we scattered in the woods. It took me forever to find everybody.
So it's just like...
And I totally got sprayed by a skunk, Dad.
Yeah, so it's just kids making shit up. They're like, yeah, the Green Man is this ghost, whatever. But it's just kids going out and just seeing some old dude that
just hanging out with.
I do think it's kind of ironic that he wanted to avoid people
and then became a freaking legend.
Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, that's the story of the Green Man, or Raymond Robinson, as he's actually known.
This is really good. And you know what? I enjoyed it. I hope the people that listen to this later enjoy it.
Yeah, I hope y'all enjoy it. And with that out of the way, that is us. If you want to do our socials,
until we have our own, that will happen at some point.
Yes,
and it might be before this one actually comes out, because I know we got several that are still about to be published. But you can find us at Team Bonus Action on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, our website teambonusaction.com, and YouTube Team Bonus Action, where we do all of our D&D and Pathfinder and whatever have you tabletop games, occasionally video games. You can also find us on Twitter at bonus_team. And you can find us on The Grave Flower on YouTube, where Chris has been posting up the the VODs.
You could also find us on most podcatchers. I'm trying to get us on Apple right now. The Apple process to get my account sucks. I don't have an Apple phone, and I will never get one. But hopefully we'll be on there soon. But for the moment, we're on most podcatchers. So, yeah, with that in mind, I hope y'all have a wonderful night or day or whatever it is there.
Be safe driving to work.